Let us start our lesson. See, in our previous, please mute yourself. Okay, children. See, in our previous classes, we have completed one business studies lesson, that is banking transaction. I have told you to complete the question and answers also. I hope you have done that. So, coming back to history today. In the first lesson, Advent of Europeans to India, you have learnt about how Portuguese, then Dutch, then English and the French came to India. Then why the Portuguese and the Dutch could not continue to rule in India. Okay, that you have understood there. Then the competition between the French and the English. Okay, and how in this competition, English won. That you have studied, right? 3 Carnatic wars we have studied. Okay, so in the first, second, and third Carnatic War, how the English overcame, suppressed the French, and continued to occupy political power in India, that we have seen. Okay, so Carnatic region, okay, Carnatic region was the first region to okay, see how Carnatic region fell into the hands of French, that you have seen, and how Bengal, okay, through the Battle of Plassey in the year 1757. Okay, 1757 Battle of Plassey and 1764 Battle of Buxar you have studied, right? So these two regions, by 1764, these two regions came under the control of British. Now, in southwestern part of India, that is our Karnataka region, then another state, Maharashtra, then northwest part of India. In these three regions, there were strong rulers. Okay. In our Karnataka region, Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan were ruling. Hyder Ali was there. Later, after him, Tipu Sultan came to power. Then in Maharashtra region, Peshwas were there, Marathas. Okay. In Maharashtra region, Peshwas were there, Marathas, they were very strong. And in the northwest part of India, okay, in the northwest part of India, that is in Rajasthan region, and in some parts of today's Pakistan region. So in this region, Sikhs were ruling. So Sikhs, then Marathas and Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan were very strong. So British wanted to defeat all these people and they wanted to extend their power in India. So how this extension took place? How could they defeat Tipu Sultan and Hyder Ali? How could they defeat Marathas and how could they defeat the Sikhs in northwest part of India? That we have to study in our next lesson under the heading the extension of British rule in India. Okay. So the extension of British rule in India is the second lesson of our history. So after 1765, what happened? Okay. So now in this lesson, we are going to concentrate on how British defeated Marathas and how British defeated Sikhs under the headings Anglo-Maratha Wars and Anglo-Sikh Wars. So 3 Anglo-Maratha wars have taken place. Then 2 Anglo-Sikh wars have taken place. About these 5 wars we are going to study in this lesson. Then in Mysore region, our Karnataka region, I have told, no, Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan were there in rule. So about Mysore wars. So totally 4 Anglo-Mysore wars were fought. So about Anglo-Mysore wars, we have to study in the next lesson. So here we are not going to study about Anglo-Mysore wars. We are concentrating on Anglo-Maratha wars. 3 Anglo-Maratha wars and 2 Anglo-Sikh wars. And in between, we have to study about a cunning strategy used by Lord Wellesley. It is subsidiary alliance, doctrine of subsidiary alliance. How Wellesley used this cunning policy to extend power in India. And also we are going to study about another important cunning strategy used by another Governor General. His name was Lord Dalhousie. Okay. So Lord Dalhousie, he adopted doctrine of lapse policy. So about these things we are going to study. Okay, now okay, so in this page you can see Carnatic Wars, then Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar. Then in the year 1765, dual government system was also introduced by whom? Robert Clive in a Bengal region. You remember, no children, dual government system. 2 marks, very important question this is. Dual government system. 2 governments. So English collected land revenue. Nawab had to look after what? The administration, including the administration of justice. So this is called dual government system. So second. So about this also I have told you already. Okay. So So who were ruling western part of India, southwestern part of India, then who were ruling the western part of India, that is Maharashtra region, then who were ruling the northwestern part of India. Already explained it is. Next one, the cunning strategies. One is your subsidiary alliance, I have told you. Doctrine of lapse policy, it was introduced by Lord Dalhousie. And third one is divide and rule policy. Okay. Then now, let us directly go for children. The first Anglo-Maratha War. First Anglo-Maratha War. Okay. See, 3 Anglo-Maratha wars were fought. The first Anglo-Maratha war started in the year 1775. It ended in the year 1782. For 7 years it took place. Then the second Anglo-Maratha war, it started in the year 1803 and it ended in the year 1805. Then afterwards, third Anglo-Maratha war, it started in the year 1817 and it ended in the year 1818. So 3 Anglo-Maratha wars. Now, first Anglo-Maratha war, 1775 to 1782, 7 years war it was. So now, what were the causes for the war? Or how the war started? Yuddha ಹೇಗೆ start ಆಯಿತು? ಯಾಕೆ start ಆಯಿತು? So, in the year 1765, you have seen, after the Battle of Buxar, Shah Alam II, do you remember children, the alliance of Mir Qasim, Shah Alam II and Shuja Uddawla in the Battle of Buxar, they were defeated, no? Shah Alam II was the weak Mughal ruler, right? So this is Shah Alam II, after the completion of Battle of Buxar, he had given all rights over Bengal to British. So for an annual income of 26 lakhs rupees, you remember, no children? So this Shah Alam II was very weak. Then what did Marathas do in this time, 1773, 1774 time? Marathas, they reappointed Shah Alam II as the Mughal ruler. Okay. They reappointed Shah Alam II as the Mughal ruler. They told that Marathas would support whom? Shah Alam II. So Shah Alam II became very happy and he gave 2 regions. Okay. He gave 2 regions to the Marathas, which were located in North India. Actually, Marathas were ruling western part of India, no? Maharashtra region alliದ್ರು. ಈ ಶಹ ಆಲಂ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ದ, he gave 2 regions. One is called children Khora. Khora is located in Bihar and another place he gave to Marathas, that is Allahabad. Allahabad is located in Uttar Pradesh. Okay. So Actually, these regions were under the control of British so far because they were controlling Shah Alam II. No. Now what happened? Shah Alam II got the support of Marathas and he gave Kota and Allahabad to Marathas. English became angry. Okay. So this is the first cause for the Anglo-Maratha war. ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮರಾಠರ ಮಧ್ಯ ಎನಿಮಿಟಿ ಬೆಳೀತು. Got? Then what happened? Later, this English wanted an immediate cause to attack the British. Sorry, attack the Marathas, right? So ಒಂದು ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಇನ್ನೂ ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ತಲೆ ಹಾಕ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಅದೇನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ನೋಡುವ. ಓಕೆ. So this time, during this time, what happened? Strong Maratha Peshwa. His name was Madhav Rao. Peshwa Madhav Rao. He died during this time. So when after the death of this Madhav Rao, Peshwa Madhav Rao, Marathas appointed Narayan Rao. Marathas appointed Narayan Rao, Madhav Rao's brother, as the next Peshwa. But this Narayan Rao was murdered. He was killed by his uncle Raghunath Rao. 3 people here, 4 people you have got. First one is Madhav Rao, who was the strong Peshwa. This Madhav Rao was the strong Peshwa. So when there was enmity, means when there was a situation of enmity between the British and Marathas, during this time itself, this strong Madhav Rao Peshwa Madhav Rao died. In his place, Marathas appointed Narayan Rao, his brother, as the next Peshwa. But Raghunath Rao, this Madhav Rao and Narayan Rao's uncle, Raghunath Rao, he was also called Raghoba. Okay, Raghobai, Raghoba. He was popular as Raghoba. So Raghunath Rao murdered Narayan Rao and he wanted to become Peshwa. But what happened? Maratha Federation did not want Raghunath Rao to become their Peshwa. ಅವರಿಗೆ Maratha Federation ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮರಾಠಾಸ್ಗೆ they did not want Raghunath Rao to become the next Peshwa. That is why what did they do? They appointed Narayan Rao's minor son Madhav Rao II as the next Peshwa. Understood? Raghunath Rao wanted to become the Peshwa. That is why he murdered Narayan Rao. But Maratha Federation did not want Raghunath Rao to become the Peshwa. That is why, who did they appoint? They appointed Narayan Rao's minor son. What was his name, children? Madhav Rao II as the next Peshwa. Marathas ಅವನಿಗೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರು. ಯಾರಿಗೆ? ಮಾಧವ್ ರಾವ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಮೈನರ್ ಸನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವನ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ಗೆ ನಿಂತರು. ಮರಾಠಾಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಪವರ್ಫುಲ್, ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಹೇಗಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡಿ ತಮ್ಮ ದೇಶವನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ಝೀಲ್ ಇದ್ದವರು ಅವರು. ಮುಘಲ್ಸ್ ವಿರುದ್ಧನೋ ಔರಂಗಜೇಬನ ವಿರುದ್ಧನೂ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಹೋರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿದವರು. ಶಿವಾಜಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಾಜಿರಾವ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ these people, they did not support Raghoba. Then what did Raghoba do? He asked the support of British. So thus what happened? British got an opportunity to interfere in the politics of Marathas. Okay, direct entry British got through whom? Raghunath Rao or Raghoba. Then what happened next? That we have to see. Course and result of the war. Okay, so now what happened? So this war took place for 7 long years. Already I have told you. Then what happened? In the initial stage, Marathas won. I have told, no, Marathas were strong people. They had got guerrilla type of war strategy. So these Marathas won initially, but British, they had got modern technology. They had got trained army. That is why afterwards British occupied Ahmedabad region. Ahmedabad, it is located in Gujarat, southern part of Gujarat. So Ahmedabad, which was belonging to Marathas, it was occupied by British. Later, Marathas could not defeat British. They entered an agreement with British, and this agreement is very popular, by which the first Anglo-Maratha war came to an end. It is called The Treaty of Salbai. Salbai Treaty. 1 mark. Very important question. By which treaty did the first Anglo-Maratha War come to an end? It is the Treaty of Salbai. Okay. The Treaty of Salbai. Marathas entered the Treaty of Salbai and the first Anglo-Maratha War came to an end. Then after the war, Madhav Rao II, who was the minor son of Narayan Rao, he was continued as the Peshwa of the Marathas. Okay. So ಯಾರನ್ನ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ನನ್ ಅದರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ಮಾಧವ್ ರಾವ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಬಂದಿರಬಹುದು, ಮಾತಾಜಿ ಯಾಕೆ 1775 ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಮಾಧವ್ ರಾವನ್ನೇ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು, ಆಮೇಲೆ 7 ವರ್ಷ ಯುದ್ಧ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅವನನ್ನೇ ತರಬೇಕು ಹೇಳಾಗಿದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಯುದ್ಧ ಯಾಕಾಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು? ಈಗ ಯುದ್ಧ ಯಾಕಾಗಿತ್ತು? Raghunath Rao wanted to become the Peshwa. That is why he had sought the help of British ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಈಗ ಯುದ್ಧ ಆಯ್ತು ಮರಾಠರ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ ಮಧ್ಯ, ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರು ಗೆದ್ದು ಆಯ್ತು. ಲೆಕ್ಕದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಯಾರು ಪೇಶ್ವಾ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು? ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ರಘುನಾಥ್ ರಾವ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಬಟ್ ಹೂ ವಾಸ್ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟೆಡ್ ಆಸ್ ದ ಪೇಶ್ವಾ? ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಮೈನರ್ ಸನ್ ಆಫ್ ನಾರಾಯಣ್ ರಾವ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮಾಧವ್ ರಾವ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್. ಯಾಕಾಯ್ತಪ್ಪ? ಸೊ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ರೀಸನ್ ಉಂಟು. ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಬಿಫೋರ್ 1773, 1773ಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲು there were 3 presidencies. British were powerful in 3 presidencies: Bombay Presidency, Bengal Presidency, Madras Presidency. ಹೌದಾ? So in these 3 places there were different heads, okay, of East India Company to look after the administration. ಬಾಂಬೆದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಇದ್ದ, ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಇದ್ದ, ಮದ್ರಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಇದ್ದ. So they did not interfere in the politics of other presidencies. ಬಾಂಬೆದವ ಹೋಗಿ ಬೆಂಗಾಲು ಮತ್ತೆ ಮದ್ರಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ತಲೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಬೆಂಗಾಲಿನ ಹೆಡ್ ಬಾಂಬೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮದ್ರಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ತಲೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಾಂಬೆದವರು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದಂಗೆ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋರು, ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ ಮದ್ರಾಸ್ ಅವರು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದಂಗೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ 1773 ನಂತರ ಏನಾಯ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಒನ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಟು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕಂಪನಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ 1773. In the next lesson we are going to study in detail about this act, regulating act. ಸೊ ಈ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ 1773 ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ದ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಗೇವ್ ಅಟರ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಪವರ್ ಟು ಹೂಮ್? ದ ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ ಪ್ರಾವಿನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಸಿಯಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಗವರ್ನರ್ ಜನರಲ್ಗೆ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಪವರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. He had the power to control Bombay Presidency and Madras Presidency also, and other regions which were occupied by East India Company before 1773. Now who became powerful? This Bengal Presidency became powerful. The governor of Bengal Presidency got more power. No, our Raghunath Rao, he had an agreement with the governor of Bombay Presidency. Okay, so ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಮರಾಠ ಫೆಡರೇಷನ್ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, they went to the governor of Bengal Presidency because they had understood that, they had got information that who is more powerful? It is the governor of Bengal Presidency. So they made an agreement with Bengal Presidency, and that agreement is none other than your Salbai Treaty. So now the governor of Bengal Presidency, he ordered Bombay Presidency people to appoint whom? Madhav Rao II as the next Peshwa. Okay, so Madhav Rao II ಈ ರೀತಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದು, ರಘುನಾಥ್ ರಾವ್ನ ಜೊತೆ ಅವ್ರು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅವನಿಗೆ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಹಣ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನೇನೋ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅವನನ್ನ ಸಮಾಧಾನ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ಬಾಂಬೆ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಸಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ವೇ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಂಗ್ಲೋ ಮರಾಠಾ ವಾರ್ ಕೇಮ್ ಟು ಆನ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಇಯರ್ 1782. Okay, so we started with causes. Shah Alam II, ಹೌದಾ? Shah Alam II, weak Mughal emperor, was reappointed by whom? Marathas. Then he gave Khora and Allahabad region to Marathas. They were under the control of British before. Now what happened? British became angry about whom? Marathas. That is why there was an enmity now between British and Marathas. During this time, the strong Maratha Peshwa Madhav Rao died. In his place, who was appointed? It was his brother Narayan Rao. But what happened to Narayan Rao? Narayan Rao was murdered by his uncle Raghunath Rao. But Maratha Federation did not want Raghunath Rao as their Peshwa. That is why they appointed Narayan Rao's minor son, that is Peshwa Madhav Rao II. Then Raghunath Rao asked the help of British. In this way, British got an direct opportunity to interfere in the politics of Marathas. Okay. Then initially, even though Marathas won, later they could not defeat whom? The British. And finally, they entered the Treaty of Salbai. Don't forget this one, children. The Treaty of Salbai, it was entered in the year 1782, and the first Anglo-Maratha War came to an end. And again, Madhav Rao II was reappointed as the Peshwa. Okay. So this is first Anglo-Maratha War, which came to an end in the year 1782. Now, before studying Second Anglo-Maratha War, which was fought in between 1803 to 1805, let us know something about the subsidiary alliance system, the doctrine of subsidiary alliance. Okay, yes. So the doctrine of subsidiary alliance, again 1 mark, very important question. ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗ್ರಿ ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿಟ್ಟ ಬುತ್ತಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಓಕೆ. So who introduced the doctrine of subsidiary alliance? It was Lord Wellesley. Okay. Lord Wellesley came to India in the year 1798 as the Governor General. So when he came to India, Mysore state already it was weak. Last 4th Anglo-Mysore War, it was fought in the year 1799. 1799 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವೆಲ್ಲೆಸ್ಲಿ ಬರೋ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈಸೂರು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಡಿಮೆ ವೀಕ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿತ್ತು. 1782 ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಂಗ್ಲೋ ಮರಾಠಾ ವಾರ್ ಎಂಡೆಡ್. ನೋ, ಸೊ ಮರಾಠಾಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ somewhat weak. So that is why it was not so difficult for Lord Wellesley to extend the power of British in India. Okay. So for this, he used 3 important strategies. One is the doctrine of subsidiary alliance, about which we are going to study. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡವ್ರು ಯಾರು? ಚಳ್ಳೆ ಪಿಳ್ಳೆ ರಾಜರು, ಸಣ್ಣ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ವಾ, ದೊಡ್ಡವರೆಲ್ಲ ಈಗ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರನ್ನು ಗಾಳಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಕಿ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಾಯ್ತು. ಮರಾಠಾಸ್ ಹೋದ್ರು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮೈಸೂರು ಹೋದ್ರು, ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಹೋದ್ರು, ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ ಪ್ರಾವಿನ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು? ಸಣ್ಣ ಪುಟ್ಟ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳು. ಅವರನ್ನ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ subsidiary alliance was used by Lord Wellesley, and other 2 strategies were waging wars, ಯುದ್ಧ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಆವಾಜ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವನ ಮೇಲೆ ಯುದ್ಧ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮರಾಠಾಸ್ ಇದ್ರು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಸೂರು ರಾಜರಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆ waging wars was the second one. And third one is whatever regions British had occupied, no, so that regions, taking those regions to direct control. These were the 3 strategies used by Lord Wellesley. Now let us understand what is subsidiary alliance. Okay. So what is this subsidiary alliance, children? So it was introduced by Lord Wellesley. Don't forget, again I am telling you. Then this was basically a military protection agreement. Okay. It was basically a military protection agreement between the East India Company and the Indian rulers. East India Company Governor General Yariga, our Lord Wellesley. So subsidiary alliance, it is basically a military protection agreement. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾರು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೇನು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿಯರಿ ಅಲೈನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿಯರಿ ಅಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್, ಇದ್ರ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರ ಹೆಸರನ್ನ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಈಸಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಸಹಾಯಕ ಸೈನ್ಯ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನ್? ಸಹಾಯಕ ಸೈನ್ಯ ಪದ್ಧತಿ, ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿಯರಿ ಅಲೈನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರೈನ್, the Indian ruler who had agreed this subsidiary alliance system, who had accepted this subsidiary alliance system, he had to keep a troop of British army in his state. Okay, ಯಾವ ರಾಜ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿಯರಿ ಅಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡ್ನೋ ಅವ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ he had to keep this a troop of British army in his state. Then second one is that king himself had to look after the expenditure of the army expenses, salary, wages, okay, that has to be maintained by that person, and even he had to pay or he had to give a particular amount of land revenue every year to the British, okay. Even if he could not pay that amount, he had to give a particular territory to the British. This is the second term of subsidiary alliance. Then third term is that person, the king who had accepted subsidiary alliance, he had to allow a British resident in his court. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ತನ್ನ ಆಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಉಂಟು ಹೇಳಾದ್ರೆ ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರನ್ನ ಎಲೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು? ಒಂದು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ, ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಅಂಬಾಸಡರ್ ಇರ್ತಿದ್ದ ಅವನ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅವನ ಆಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ. So this was the third condition. Then fourth condition is if that king wanted to have any other resident, means any other resident from Europe, maybe French, maybe Dutch, maybe Portuguese, ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಬರ್ತೇವಪ್ಪ ತಾವು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಕೂಡ he had to take the permission of the British government. Understood? Okay. So ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರನ್ನಾರು ತನ್ನ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಈಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಸಿ ಹೌ the Indian ruler who had accepted subsidiary alliance, how he was going into the control of British. ಹೇಗೆ ಈಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಕೈ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಗುಲಾಮನಾಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಈ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಏನು ಮಕ್ಕಳು? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ he had to keep a troop of British army in his state. Second ಏನಪ್ಪ? he had to maintain the expenditure of the army. Then he had to give wages to the British soldiers. ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿನೂ ಅವನೇ ಕೊಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಅಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೂ ಮೀರಿ a particular territory from which the British could collect land revenue, ಆ ಟೆರಿಟರಿ ಕೂಡ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಮೂರನೇ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ he had to allow a British resident in his court. ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ವಿಚಾರ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿರ್ಲಿ ಆ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಿದ್ದ. Then fourth one, if he had to appoint any other resident from any other country of Europe, he had to take the permission of British. Okay. Then afterwards, what is the next important condition of subsidiary alliance? Next term, fifth one, children. See, if that king wanted to make an agreement with any other Indian ruler, or if he wanted to wage war against any other Indian ruler, for that also he had to take the permission of British. Okay, understood? So ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರನ್ನ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋದಿರ್ಲಿ, ಯುರೋಪ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹಾಕ್ರಿ, ಇಂಡಿಯಾದ ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಒಂದು ರೂಲರ್ ಜೊತೆಗೂ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ರೂಲರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇವ್ನು ಯುದ್ಧ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವ್ನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು? he had to take the permission of the British. Okay, this is how the Indian ruler who had accepted subsidiary alliance, completely he became the puppet in the hands of British East India Company. Puppet ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೈಗೊಂಬೆ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲಾ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದವರಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಲಾಭ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಏನ್ ಲಾಭ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ವಾ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ whatever army, whatever troop you are maintaining in your state, now that troop you can use in case any Indian ruler attacks you. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಯುದ್ಧಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದ್ರಪ್ಪ, ಅವಾಗ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು? ನಮ್ಮ ಆರ್ಮಿಯನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಮಜಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಯಾರು ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರು ಯುದ್ಧಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಯುದ್ಧ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ದ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಈ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬ ಯಾರು ಯುದ್ಧಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ನೋ ಆ ರಾಜನು ಕೂಡ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದ? he too had accepted subsidiary alliance. ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಯುದ್ಧನೇ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಇದರಿಂದ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಲಾಭ ಆಯ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಲೆಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲೂ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟೇಬಲ್ ಟು whom? the British. It was not at all profitable. It was a burden for the Indian ruler. So what were the effects or what were the results of subsidiary alliance? It is the next question. What was the impact or how it was a burden for Indian rulers. Okay. Now we will end the meeting here, children. You join the meeting again with the same link.